Y'all, can I tell you about these Tecovas boots? I don't know if y'all know this, but these boots are handmade, high quality, stylish, and comfortable right out of the box. I know we buy everything online these days, but boots are something you really should get fitted for. And it just so happens Tecovas is based right here in Austin. So come shop with me at the Tecovas store on South Congress or the Domain. That's TECOVAS.com. Don't go gently, y'all. Today on CityCast Austin is for the dogs. It's National Dog Day, y'all, and where in the world would we be without our sweet little four-legged fur babies by our side? I'm here with Luis Sanchez, spokesman for Austin Pets Alive, and Eva Ruth Moravec, our executive producer and a dog lover. We are celebrating with a chat about all of the things that we need to know about dogs, what you should do if you have a pet pup in Austin, what to do if you find a stray dog, where you can go with your dog, and more. We'd like to thank Tecovas, our exclusive launch sponsor. It's Monday, August 26th. I'm Nikki Devon, and this is what Austin is talking about. Hello, Luis. Thank you for being here with us.
Hello. Thank you so much for having us.
Hi, Eva Ruth. How are you?
Great. Happy to talk about dogs.
Yes. Okay. So Austin is a no-kill city, meaning that we do not allow for dogs to be euthanized just because they're a stray. And Austin is also very, very, very dog obsessed. Luis, you have dogs?
Yes, I do. So I have a little one that's a Boston Terrier Frenchie guy, and his name is Milo, and he's a character. he runs the house, and then we have our other guy, which is our big dog Odie, and he's actually a rescue from Austin Humane Society. So we adopted him actually right after we moved here to Austin a few years ago. So Odie is like a black mouth cur mix. He's a little bigger dog, but he is the most caring, loving, gentle dog you'll ever meet.
Nice.
Aw.
Yeah.
Milo and Odie. What about you, Eva Ruth?
Well, I've had other dogs in the past, but my pack is down to one. His name is Jet, and he is a super mutt, according to the DNA test that I spent money on for some reason, to tell me that he's multiple dog breeds combined in one. But he was stray. He would try to run away in the beginning because he wasn't used to being told what to do and everything. But now he's very domesticated, and he's a really good companion.
And you guys know about my Princess Queen Frankie. She is a 7-pound poodle Yorkie mix.
That's cute.
So she looks like a Fraggle. She looks like just like a little tuft of hair, and she's perfect, and she likes to be held, and she's social. But very independent. I got her from the Humane Society, oddly enough. And I think she was found at a rest stop. I think, rescue. Cute little queen. Yeah. So we all have our little doggies. So Luis, I want to kind of get into one of my biggest fears is that somehow Frank, because for some reason, she likes to be in the front yard where there is no fence. And so I'm always worried that she's going to get out. On her tag, it says, "If I am lost, mom is freaking out." And it's got my number on it. And so we also make sure that, our dogs are microchipped.
Yes, absolutely.
What are some other essential things that, you should just kind of know about having a dog in Austin? Like for me, that's kind of like, my dog's microchip, that's all, right? But I'm sure there are other things.
Microchipping is so crucial. And there's a lot of resources where you can get them for free or for $5. So it's really something that you shouldn't put off because you don't want to be like, oh, I should have got a microchip after the fact that you lost your animal, right? So as soon as you can, as soon as you adopt, as soon as you get a pup. The second is, like you said earlier, having a name tag that has the owner's information, because that way people can visually see that is somebody's pet and not a stray specifically. So they know that pet is definitely lost, right? And then, posting on Nextdoor, posting on Austin Pets or Austin Lost and Found Pets. is a good one. And then you do a 311 call. So there's quite a few things that you can do to make sure that, pets get reunified. And there's actually a really like crazy stat that it's about 70%, over 70% of lost dogs are within a mile of their home.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. And then 50% are within like 400 yards. So it's something that, it's all it takes is really like walking around the neighborhood, posting those pictures, like on Nextdoor, and more than likely they're going to get reunited with their family instead of you just kind of letting them be or not posting anything about them or taking them to somewhere else or chasing them away. So it's like they're all pretty close.
My dog always thinks it's a game.
Yeah,
like the closer I get to her, she's like, and she like runs away. I'm like, oh my God.
I'm grateful that Austin has such a pet loving community, because I do feel like a lot of dogs that might get out, like there are people who will take them in and care for them. And there was one time when my good friend found a dog running loose, we thought, on the east side, and even took the dog to the fire department to check for a microchip. Mm-hmm. There was no collar, no nothing. She couldn't keep the dog at her house and asked me if we could keep her or keep this dog. He was this beautiful white German Shepherd. We took him in, we gave him a bath, named him Klaus. We've decided he has an Instagram that's going to be Klaus Has a House, because we've like rescued this dog. And then like by the end of the night, somebody had contacted us. Somebody's pet had gotten out, and we had like already gotten attached to this dog that just seemed like it needed a little bit of help. So we spent a lovely night with Klaus, and then we took him back to his actual home, and he went back to his name, and everything was back to normal.
Yeah. The collar and the microchip would have helped you so far, like way earlier in that process, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you feel like, both of you, what are some things that y'all feel like in order to have a dog in Austin, you need this thing? Because for me, it's those cute little dog.
The shoes.
Those cute little dog booty covers, because it's so hot. It's so hot in their little pads on the concrete. So I love those things. Frankie hates them. She hates them. She hates every part of it. But for me, I'm like, put these little booties on so you go outside.
Mm-hmm. You're protected.
Do you guys have something like that?
I really recommend just like, for me, I call them mental health walkies. This is what me and my wife call them. We just love taking our dogs on walks. And we try to do it like later in the evening, like right before sunset, when it's a little cooler. It's not, the pavement isn't too hot. Mm-hmm. And like stay off your phone. Just enjoy that moment with your dog. And it does wonders for you and them.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Eva?
Mine would be the Furminator.
Oh.
My dog has like a whole underfloof is what we call it.
Oh, yeah.
The like floofy undercoat, and he sheds it like I think twice a year. And it's just these little orange hairs that are just like floating away, and you try to sweep them up and they're like, no, thank you. So the Furminator is like this crazy comb that gets the underfloof out, and he loves it. He's so funny. Jet will like take it out and be like, do you want to be brushed? And he'll carry it outside in his mouth.
Oh my God, get out of here.
And sit down, and he's like, yes, brush me.
That's so cute.
I might have to get that. Yeah.
It's very helpful if you have a dog that is very sheddy like that.
Yeah, ours is everywhere.
Oh my God. I got one of those brushes that I saw on Instagram that are for horses. And because my sister's dog has an underfloof and they're just tufts everywhere. Those things work so well too. So you mentioned earlier, Luis, that there are ways that you can get your dog microchipped, and they're low cost resources, because having a dog can be expensive.
Yeah. So there's actually a couple pages that I want to share. One is pets.findhelp.com is a place where you can go in, put in your zip code, and it gives you access to like low cost vets, low cost vaccinations, really like a significant amount of things. The other one, of course, is you can go to our website, and we have what's called a PASS program. Funky name. It means Positive Alternatives to Shelter Surrender. It's basically, say, a vet bill, or pay for food, pay for vaccines, or they're needing to rehome a pet. We are able to provide that support. And so people can submit in a sense, like a request to us, and they can join a Facebook group as well, which has actually about 70,000 members across Texas. And so you can join the group and you can submit a request with us to get, resources. So in the past, we've done like crowdsourcing or crowdfunding for a surgery. So if you're like, hey, my dog has this surgery, it's $5,000. I can't pay that. Then we help you set up a GoFundMe, and community members kind of step up and help each other and support each other to pay for those things. Or, we can give you direct referrals to a low cost vet like Emancipet, right? And then the other way we look at it too is we group pets with people, right? With healthcare. So we know that if somebody is struggling to pay for pet food, they're also likely struggling with food insecurity. So then we connect them with, say, Central Texas Food Bank or other resources in the community. So we kind of think about the other factors that are affecting somebody's life. If they're homeless, or that we can provide resources to find them stable housing. And then if for some reason during a short period of time that housing can't take the pet, we put the pet in foster care or at the shelter. We help them get a home, and then we put them back with their family. So it's kind of thinking about pet care or that kind of animal welfare as a part of the human kind of services set of things.
I don't know why I never put the correlation of the two together. That's yeah, of course. If you can't pay for your pet to eat, there's a really good chance probably that you also are dealing with food insecurity. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like the robust approach. So, like I mentioned earlier, I think I said a lot. Austin loves their dogs.
Yes.
Like their dogs are everywhere. So everywhere you go, there's dogs. And some people love it, but some people hate it. Austin has 16 off-leash areas, right? And otherwise, it's illegal to have your dog off-leash. Is that right?
Yeah, technically, it's not necessarily illegal. I think it's against city ordinance. So you could get cited for that. And it's obviously really hard to kind of, in a sense, police that, right? It's very difficult for the city to do that. But again, I think it just falls like on a pet owner, just being a responsible pet owner. And it's important that, you keep your dogs in designated off-leash areas.
Yeah.
It's a matter of safety because, one, you don't know the other dogs that are around the park, especially when some dogs are on leash, some dogs are off leash. There could be, factors that go into play, which is like on leash reactivity. Because one dog is being restrained and the other one isn't, right? And then when you're at, say, Zilker Park or on the trail or something like that, keeping them on leash, because there's a multitude of factors. There's other kids, people, bikes, scooters, all the things that may be triggering for a dog and might cause a dog to react in a way that you're not necessarily ready for. It's just more so for safety.
It's also like more polite, it feels like, because there are a lot of people who don't want your dog running up to them, whether it's a very nice dog or not. I mean, you just don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like putting the expectation on other people to be dealing with your stuff. That's like, it's a little unnecessary.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, your dog may be well trained or it might have a good recall, but it might be somebody else's dog's training opportunity, right? So it's just being kind of having that courtesy to give your dog space or the other dog space as well, because this is an unfamiliar dog to both you and your dog, and it's just a matter, again, of safety. It's, I think that's one of my biggest things, and I'm a huge advocate for is pushing for the reactive dogs, because they also deserve a good walk. They deserve going to the park. They deserve going out to places. And just, because they're working through maybe some reactivity doesn't mean that those spaces should be off limits to them.
So what are y'all's favorite, either like off-leash areas or dog parks? What are y'all's favorite dog parks?
We're big fans of more of like a trail, because that's a lot, like stronger enrichment for the dogs. Dog parks can be a little bit intimidating for a lot of dogs because there's so many behaviors. All the dogs in that park are strangers, but we love trails. Like, we love taking them out on a hike. We love luckily we're right next to the trail downtown, so we can take them out on that. And we have certain dogs that are approved to go on the trail. We have a beautiful city with tons of trails that are dog friendly. And that's, really where we think people should take their dogs.
There was this amazing trail that we've done before called the Turkey Creek Trail. And it's really fun. It like crosses Turkey Creek several times. And so it's nice. There's like areas where dogs can sploosh around. And I'm pretty sure it's all off leash.
I typically just check all trails. I don't know. It's an app that has like all the trails, and that's where I check, like if a trail is dog friendly or pet friendly, and we're of course parking. I typically check that, and then of course check any signage.
Yeah, and then we did. I have enjoyed the Redbud Island dog park.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. It's just like a whole dog island, and you can be there. You can be off leash anywhere, and there are all these different areas where dogs can get into the water and run through the woods and chase squirrels and stuff. But it is one of those trickier spots, especially in the summertime, to try to avoid the blue-green algae that we get. So just something to keep an eye out for. But when that's not around, it's very fun, and it's a great dog park.
Yeah. And with the algae, the reason it's very deadly for dogs, because it is toxic to them, is because any little bit can get on their fur, and dogs clean themselves by licking their fur. So that's how quickly, like, it could just be their paws that get in that water, get some of the algae on it. They go and they lick their feet and they get sick. And so it's one of those things that's like and luckily the City of Austin has a really great website page. So you can just do like algae City of Austin, and it takes you to the City of Austin page, and you can check where the algae is present, how it's doing. So that way, if it's safe for your dog.
So I know that my sister takes my sister is in a neighborhood, like a suburban neighborhood, and there's, they have their own trail, they have all that stuff. So she takes my dog on these glorious walks. But when I'm social, so when I have my dog, I like to take her wherever I go, stores, shopping, I don't care. I take her wherever I go, which means that a lot of times that's bars. There are a lot of, bars in Austin that are very dog friendly, restaurants,
Yes.
Whatever. You mentioned Yard Bar, Cosmic Coffee, of course. For me, it feels so easy because she's a little pocket sized thing that I can just put, literally, she has her own little Bjorn thing. But like, what about bigger dogs? I'm always so fascinated when people bring big dogs into bars. Do y'all ever take y'all's dogs into bars or restaurants? And if so, like, which ones? What are your favorites?
Yeah, ABGB is one of my favorites. Celis Brewery, it's up by like the Domain.
Yeah.
Because they have I like the places that have a little bit more space.
Jet does not get to go out much, unfortunately. He likes car rides. He's great in that he loves like going through a drive-through. It's a big moment for him. And of course, if there's a pup cup involved, that's even better.
Oh my God.
But no, he would not. He doesn't like going out. He's a homeboy.
Yeah. And some are fine with that.
It's so fun to be able to like socialize with your pet. But for him, it's almost like it stresses him out more to be in those situations. And he's not the most social dog anyway with other dogs. So it's like, it's cute, but it's not fun for him.
It's great that you know that about your dog. I'm holding my dog the whole time. And the only risk really is just people kind of coming up to her and just like picking her up. What do you think are some other things that you should know before you take your dog to bars? Like what do you feel like are the risks?
So our little dog is the one that we take out, and he's the one that's dog reactive. But like the way we choose our places is obviously the time of day, because he's a little dog that gets overheated because he has a short muzzle, right? But it's the places with extra space, so that way, if there's a lot of dogs around, we can go to a corner or something, and he feels comfortable. It's a good training opportunity for us, and it's not overly stressful. Our big dog, he shuts down. Like, poor guy, he was a stray for the first like 6 months of his life. So he is just terrified of kids and people. He loves dogs though. So like Yard Bar is phenomenal for him because he can play around with other dogs, and it's off leash. So for some reason he's not as reactive with people. So it's just, it kind of seeing your dog's body language, because you got to kind of respect their boundaries, but having fun with it too. If they're capable of going out, take them out. If they're not, make sure they get some good love at home, and they're happy dogs. They don't need much.
Yeah.
That's the beauty about dogs.
Yeah, it seems like to me it's like just paying attention to your dog and not making it about you having this accessory, but like is your dog comfortable, and is that where they want to be? And if not, then address it. They're your child. This is your fur baby. So, put their priorities first, or their comfort before your ability to just carry them around or look cute.
My rule of thumb, and I kind of learned this from from the owner's standpoint, but my partner does this all the time, and it's a constant reminder. When you approach a dog, like, I always ask the owner first, can I pet your dog?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's so many times when people just reach out.
Yeah, I would love if everybody ever, always said that. Especially if people have kids as well, teaching your kids to ask the owner, can I pet your dog? Because again, safety, it's courtesy and it's safety.
Can I pet that dog?
Oh my God, I love that. So let's say you're wandering around, with a flashback to Eva's story about Klaus.
You found a Klaus.
Yeah, you find a Klaus. You're out and about, you're wandering around living your life. You come across a dog in Austin that appears to be a stray, no collar or nothing. What do you do?
Yeah, first thing, take a picture. Take a picture of the dog, so that way you have that picture. Second is if that dog is injured, like visibly injured, call 311 and get animal control out there. They should prioritize those animals. If it's a healthy animal, since you did that picture, you can do the 311 report. You can post them on Austin Lost and Found Pets, Nextdoor. You can walk them around the neighborhood, or walk around the neighborhood and say, hey, there's a dog out here. Is it yours? If it's safe for you to do that. If you kind of exhausted all those resources, Austin Animal Center has that, Finder to Foster program. So if you're able to take that dog home with you and take care of it for a few days, it typically increases the probability of them getting back to their family. Because city intake is closed, we kind of do have to band together as a community and kind of, we do have to do some of that legwork ourselves.
Yeah. And so when you say city intake, you meaning Austin Animal Center?
Correct.
Is that right? Yeah. And so for everybody listening, they're at capacity. Doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon. Out of the city's $5.9 billion budget, $455,000 is going to the Austin Animal Center, and boarding pets that have to be housed. They are full. There is no room. And so let's talk about fostering.
That $400,000 was actually just approved for them to hire foster staff. So like that, so it's like, I think 1.5 or 2 people to support Austin Animal Center's foster efforts. So it's easy to do if you want to foster. You just go to Austin Animal Center, you go to Austin Pets Alive, or even Austin Humane Society, Williamson County, a lot of those kind of the city shelters, and go on their websites and apply to be a foster. With APA, we also are a little bit more flexible. We can do sleepovers up to foster to adoption. So you can do a couple days, say hey, it's really hot right now in Austin. I really want to get a dog out of the shelter for a couple days. Perfect. You can do that if you are thinking about adopting. And you're like, let me do a 2-week trial run with this dog. See if this is going to work. And then that way you can be like, hey, this is perfect. I want to pursue the adoption. Or, hey, we can't adopt him, but we can keep on fostering him until he finds a home, or that, they're them a home. Or you can be like, hey, this is just working out. They're not getting along with my kids. Can I bring them back to the shelter? And we save the kennel for them.
Oh my gosh.
It can be really stressful when you want to foster, and then it almost feels like the responsibility of finding the dog a home is on you as a foster person.
Right.
Instead of and I feel like that's a barrier to people wanting to participate, because they're like, well, I don't need this added job. I'm just trying to like do a good thing and like help out this dog that needs a place to stay. So it's nice to hear that there's like some flexibility and like you test out the dog, you can bring it back,
Yeah, you can test it out. Yeah.
This sleepover idea is adorable and I'm super into, and I have allergy. I'm allergic. So, but it's like, I could probably do it for 2 days. You know what I mean? Like,
and a lot of the time, all they do is just sleep. Like they haven't had that good of sleep in so long because they came to us from another shelter. So sometimes it's like maybe they've been with us for a couple months, but maybe they were at the previous shelter for another 3 months. So they haven't slept on a bed 6 months or something.
You're planting this seed in my head, Luis. You're planting this seed in my head.
I know.
Yeah.
Doggy sleep over.
It's honestly, it's an experience. Yeah. And I think if there's one like kind of piece of knowledge that I can give is the fostering process. It does get easier every single dog you do. Yes, taking them back to the shelter doesn't get any easier. Like it's still tough, but you know that you gave them a place to rest and feel loved for whatever days you took them. And that to me is like, sorry, I get emotional just thinking about it, but like that to me is enough. Like, yes, I can't foster for 3 months. But hey, for that week, I showed them love.
Oh, man. Happy Dog Day, y'all. I love the idea of just like giving them some love for a little bit.
Yeah.
And my dog is very dog friendly and she loves new friends and new pals and like.
They're the best.
The other thing, too, that we have is a Dog Day Out program, which is I believe it's every Tuesday and Thursday. You can take a dog out from 12 to 6 p.m.
What?
So you can take them to a brewery, you can take them to the trail, you can take them home, you can do whatever and it gives them, again, a really good break from the shelter for a day. We're really flexible in fostering because for us, the way we also think about sheltering is a little bit different. We try to keep as little animals as possible in the shelter. Because for us, the shelter isn't a good environment for dogs. We give them all the care that we can, but there's nothing like a home, right? So for us, a majority of the animals that are in our care are actually in foster care. Town Lake Animal Center, which is downtown, it's a property owned by the city of Austin. So in exchange for rent, we take in about 12% of their animals a year.
Oh.
Yeah. So in this year, we're around 17% of their animals. So it's about 1,800 animals so far that we've taken from Austin Animal Center.
Whoa.
But we need to fix this sheltering system that's super antiquated and that's really broken, and that only 0.5% of the budget is actually going to animals. But 30% of the calls are animal related. So there's a big difference between the demand for animal services and the way cities prioritize and fund animal services. There's always been some confusion. A lot of people think that Austin Pets Alive is a city shelter, or that we're the same kind of entity as a city shelter, but we're actually two completely different organizations, right? So the city shelter, Austin Animal Center, is funded by tax dollars, right? And they are part of the city of Austin, and their responsibility is to be the intake shelter and provide resources. Us as an organization, as Austin Pets Alive, we set out to stop the needless euthanasia of animals.
Yeah, I love this. You're really, really giving us every single opportunity to connect with pets. And, it feels awesome. Luis, thank you so much for being here. Eva Ruth, thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
Yay, dogs.
Happy Dog Day.
Foster and adopt.
Yes.
Adopting is huge here in Austin. Keep them inside.
Snuggle them.
Let them enjoy the AC.
Aw. Yeah. Happy Dog Day.
Happy Dog Day, y'all. Thank you for chatting with me about this. Bye, Eva Ruth. Bye, Luis.
Bye, y'all. Thanks, Luis.
Thank you.
That's all for today here on CityCast Austin. You'll find the links to Austin Pets Alive and the resources we talked about in our show notes. We want to thank Luis Sanchez for being here. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Austin newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye, y'all.